Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. Speaking of creating the adventures of a lifetime, I want everyone to, first of all, and you're not going to know why you're doing this, but I want everybody to applaud. And we'll get into why you're doing that in just people are going, that man is crazy. I don't know what's gotten into him. But in a moment, we'll tell everybody why they applauded, and they should be very, very happy. We're talking with becoming a real good friend of the show. Annie Delre is with us, and she is really a high-spirited, high-energy individual that has got a lot of life to her, and you can just see it. I don't know if saying oozing out of your pores is a very attractive way to describe somebody, though, is it?
You're oozing, right? Yeah. It's like the word moist, like, ugh. Okay.
Oh, that does leave all kinds of mental images, doesn't it? But I want to thank you for being here. She is a coach. She's working with people to help them live their best lives, and there's been a slight change here in the nuts, and I had to have her back because I believe in her, and I believe in the work that she's doing. So I had to have her back to talk about what's going on with her, because I think it's indicative of what can be happening with a lot of people if they have the intestinal fortitude to make it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
I think so. I'll let you share the news, but I think so.
Well, when we first talked, you are a coach, but there's a thing that comes into play that happens to everybody, and that is, with the same reason I drove a bus for 12 years, is because I would really like to be able to do this, but it doesn't pay me to live and to feed my kids and to do all that stuff. So I had to make, compromises for a period of time, always knowing that I would come back to where I wanted to be. And you had to do the same thing, and you had to have a corporate job, and you had to do your work and learn your work and do everything. And then somewhere, and I don't know how this exactly happened, but somehow, somewhere, you got the epiphany that now is the time.
Yeah.
Explain that.
So I was pretty strategic with it. I was coaching a bunch of people for other companies, and the age range was like, let's say 20 to 50, maybe 60. And then I was like, you know what? You need a few months at least with just kids and parents. So then I was coaching people like 5 years old to 17 and their parents. And then I was like, you know what? You need just the elderly. So then I was coaching people from like 55 to 94, I think was the oldest person, like 94. And then isn't that wild? It was on health, right? But
did you call up the 94-year-old before you went, saying, just checking to make sure you're still here?
Well, sometimes like when you call, they're like my when you're checking in, they say like they're now in a home, or they passed away. And then you have to switch from a coach almost to that more therapeutic of, how can I hold space for you? I'm so sorry to hear of your loss. What are you doing for yourself during this time? Right? Because that's still a person on the other line, right? And now you're learning about their grief. And it just got to a point. Well, also I should say I'm in San Diego. So
beautiful area.
The average house, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, is $1 million. And that's not an exaggeration. That's not like a million. Like, that's what it is around here. So as like a planning woman, I'm like, yeah, you need consistent income. And in a coaching practice, until you're like fully established, like making 5K a month solely on your own business, that's like
that's hard. It takes time.
Yeah. So, and I'm so glad I did corporate for the last like 10, 12 years, only because now I can help my clients so much more with their professional life, so much more with resumes, changing careers, up leveling, promotions, dealing with your colleagues, dealing with toxic bosses, leaving your job. Like, I'm so glad that I have this experience. Yeah.
Well, don't you find that everything that you've done in life gives you more experience, and that experience is all designed to take you to where you were, to where you want to be, and everything is a good experience to have, even if you're in the middle of it and saying, oh crap, here we go again. It's a good thing.
Totally. Yeah. Even working with business owners, like, to say, I know what it's like to work for someone else full time and to make someone else a ton of money while you're taking home crumbs. I get it. Like, and encouraging these entrepreneurs to keep going.
Yeah. Well, what was it like when you said to your boss, I'm going to be, and to finish the story, what you've done now is you've decided to leave the corporate world.
Oh, yeah.
You're taking that leap into entrepreneurship and taking care of yourself, and going to be a coach for a lot of people doing a lot of different things. So I think that's great. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, because I had to decline speaking opportunities. I had to decline like group coaching. I had to decline opportunities for my business coach, because when you work 40 hours a week for someone else, you can't just take a 2-hour lunch and jump on a podcast, right? Like, it just doesn't, for the most part.
Nope, you can't. When I started the radio show, I was a district sales manager for a major food company. And my boss came to me one day and he said, I'm sorry, but you can't do the radio anymore. And I said, pardon me? And he said, and this was at nighttime. And he said, no, we don't want it to reflect upon the company, what you're doing. And I said, but I'm doing good things. And they said, well, I know, but the company doesn't like it. So you're going to have, so I ended up leaving the company. So there, doggone it.
Right. They're like, don't go for your dreams. You're going to work here. We're going to work you to the bone. And if you're a good employee, we're going to give you more responsibilities with no pay raise and no promotion title. Like, thank you. Cool.
I will be your dutiful servant for the rest of my life.
Oh, and I talk to people about it all the time. in their careers.
It's interesting. I had a gentleman on yesterday and I learned in the conversation that I had with him is that I'm pretty talented when it comes to management theory and management, how to run a company, and how to eliminate turnover and to do some really interesting things. So I could do some of that. I don't want to. I want to do this. I had my sister said, because I said, I was in management for a long time, and the restaurants that I ran well. The turnover went down, customer service went up, the employees were happier, and she said, well, have you thought about, like doing what do you call it?
Trainings?
No, not training, but consulting. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Consulting for restaurants. And she said, you'd be good at it. And I said, no, you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's too much work. I'd just as soon do this and leave that to those guys. But it is an art form. And I'm telling you, Annie, it is an art form to really be able to convey to people the necessary steps that it takes to build a company and to make everybody really sing from the same playbook. Any metaphor you want to use, like swim in the same direction, paddle in the same boat, And it really takes a lot to be able to do that. And why is it, in your opinion, in your experience, are so few people capable of pulling that off?
I think lack of confidence in themselves. But also kind of I don't know. Because it's hard because there's some BS out there. Like, for example, I remember this coach being like, I quit my job and I made $1 million by the end of my first year.
I want to see their checkbook, please.
Well, number one, totally. But she forgot to mention that her husband makes close to $300,000 and that he invested, I think it was like $30,000 a month into advertising for her to have ads online and to pay companies to put her in magazines. So it's like, but you had so much funding backing you up. And then it came out later that she lied about making 6 figures or like $1 million company. So it's like, so we see these stories. And so one part of it is like, yes, get the confidence to do it, but also don't listen to these others. Like, be really careful who you listen to, because it makes sense to stay in corporate to save money, to have a backup. Like right now I think it's 5 months saved of expenses. And that means if I didn't make a single dollar from this day, I'd be able to have expenses and still luxuries for 5 months.
Well, that's not going to be the case.
No, because I still work. I'm still a presenter for other companies. I can still do contract work for other companies, just not full time.
Well, you're going to be successful at this. This is going to be, because when you take the bull by the horns and you say, I'm going to do this, and then you say to the universe, which I'm sure you've had intimate conversations with the universe, that says, okay, guys, this is what you wanted me to do. I'm doing what you want me to do. Show me the way.
Show me. Yeah.
Show me the money. No,
yeah,
show me the
way. Yes, he's on the phone. Show me the money.
Because from my perspective, the universe is on the other side saying, you know what? She said go. She said yes. She said take it and run with it. Okay. All right, guys, come on. Let's all get together here. We've got work to do, and we've got to put this together. Okay, now you do this, and we'll plan on doing this, and then we're going to get her to do that, and then we're going to set it up in such a way that, yes, there's free will, but her free will is going to say, absolutely, I want to do that because it's so good.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I was on my soapbox again.
No, that's exactly it, though. You said it, you verbalized it really well. That's exactly it. It's like, oh, okay, the light switch is on. Okay, you gave me the green light.
And things are going to begin to happen for you. And they are happening for you now. And sometimes, and this is a something for everybody to consider, sometimes the light is green, but because we don't have vision, 360 peripheral vision, we can't see everything that is around us that is in conjunction with the light being green. So we don't look at it as, oh, the light's green, but I don't see anything. It couldn't very well be happening, and we don't know it.
Oh, totally. Or they're like, I'm looking for a sign, and then they get somewhat of a sign, and they're like, that's not good enough. I need to slap me across the face in order for it to be real.
It's like that old joke about the guy that was in a flood, and he was on his roof, and it was floodwaters were all around him, and he said, God save me. But then and so helicopter came by, and they said, here, we'll lower the ladder. He said, no, don't worry about it, God's going to take care of it. And then a guy came in a boat and said, get on the boat, I'll save you. And he said, no, God's going to take care of it. Well, he ended up drowning.
Right.
And he gets to heaven, and he says to God, how come you didn't save me? And he said, well, look, I sent you a helicopter and I sent you a boat. What else do you want?
Right. Right. Totally. And also it may not be the way you planned it.
It never is.
So I don't know if you thought God's hand was going to come through the sky and grab you, but yeah, helicopter, it might not be the plan. It wasn't the plan, but also that's the help.
Exactly. So what it is that as you go down this road, my advice to you, and you already know this, but my advice to other people who are toying with the idea of living their passion and finding their purpose and really taking it off and really wanting to make it happen. My advice to you is tell the universe yes and then trust.
Yeah.
Trust what you see, trust what comes your way, and then say yes again. And keep saying yes, and things will eventually, in the timing that's right, not necessarily your timing, but the timing that's right, it will all work out for you and stuff. So that's why I'm so proud of you that you've taken this, because now what you've done is you've said, okay, guys, let's go. I'm here.
That's it. And then you're going to love this. You're going to love this. So now I have 40 hours that I can put back into my business and things I love, like public speaking or more events or, my business or laying outside, whatever it is. I came up with the idea. I'm going to start doing skits on my Instagram and play different characters that are different millennials and different like personalities. And it's going to be a little fun, a little educational, but now I have time to tape it. And before, if I couldn't even entertain the idea. There wasn't enough time. So I cannot wait. I'm buying the wigs today. Like I've been researching wigs. I've been having people vote on which wig I should use for each character. So that's what I'm now going to be working on.
Brilliant. Simply brilliant.
It's going to be so fun.
Well, and people are going to like it, and they're going to laugh.
Oh, I'm going to ham it up.
Of course, and it will be by your design, and it's going to right. That really. We won't tell anybody else because I don't want anybody else to get that idea. So this is just between you and me.
Okay.
And the million other people that are happening.
And whoever's listening now or later, but yeah,
now or later, and because we're on the Brushwood Media Network, and we actually got our numbers for May, and we have over 1,070,000 monthly listeners.
Amazing.
And I need to use that story to amplify your story.
Ooh, okay.
Because 4 years ago, when I started this again, and started the podcast, I'd done the radio show, and I really want the Positive Talk to be a platform that is big enough that I can have people like you come on, and that people will call and you can help them. You can help more people because people will know about you. And if they find something that works with you, then you can work with them and stuff. So I needed to have a big enough platform. So I always said, if I could have 1 million listeners a month, I could have that big of a platform, then the show could begin to make a difference. It is now, in over 4 years, if you look at the history of where it's come from and all the little things that we did, this team member that came along, the other team member that came along, the doing things with the radio station, and then which morphed into more of this, and then if you look at it's all by divine design. I could not have made this up had I tried, to then get to where it is today. And by the way,
Oh, here we go.
they're going to be putting up billboards with my picture on them.
No way. Yes. Oh my gosh. You have to take a picture with the billboard in the back and you like this. Like
that's what my team is telling me. It's like, yeah. it's so it's and so they said, well, pick a area code that you think, or a zip code that might, have some people. So I live right by SeaTac Airport, and that gets 194,000 people going through it per day. And so they're going to be putting billboards there and in 7-Eleven stores. And so, which means that I can no longer get wings at 3 o'clock in the morning at a 7-Eleven store, because that's where I'll be right there. And anyway, so, but then, but
Oh my gosh.
that's the next thing that just is, it just, it just popped up. And bless the Brushwood Media Network. They are an awesome group of people. And Stephen, and I won't use his last name, but they're just awesome people. And they believe in the show, and they like the show. It's on twice a day, Monday through Friday. So we're on drive time both on the East Coast and in Europe
Oh, that's awesome.
in the morning. So, but those things happen. So you're just getting started with that road, and but you've already got your feet firmly on the ground, and you've got a lot of your hands and a lot of stuff. So you're going to be doing great.
Thank you. I can't believe you're going to be on billboards. You're going to have to like hold a marker in your pocket so you can start signing when people see you out in public.
Oh, good heavens. This isn't about me. Anyway. So
But still, you have to have a face to the show, right? Like you have to
that's true.
humanize it.
And I actually had professionally done pictures done. So
They powder your face.
oh yeah. Well, they did the thing about, like, oh, we can make you look better. It's like, good. Well, can you lose me 50 pounds? Well, we can do that easy. So we need to take a quick break. We're talking with Annie Delre. And when we come back, we're going to have her tell you how you can get a hold of her, because I think she's well worth your time. We'll be right back.
They have your eyes. They have your ears. They have your smile. Now all they need is a little more of your time. Make a difference in your child's life, because anyone can be a father. It takes time to be a dad.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. And I play that just to wake everybody up and to let them know that we're here. But I like that little snippet. It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
And we're talking again with Annie Delre. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, miss, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, go to Instagram. If they have an Instagram, definitely it's Coach Annie Delre. Or to my website. Just reach out there, and that's anniedelre.com.
And that is DELRE. See, then that's very good. That's very good. So now that you're a free woman, how does it feel to be on your own? It's got to be a little frightening at the same time that it's freeing.
I'm just like in such bliss. I don't know, when I think it's because I have so much confidence in myself. I have so much confidence in myself. And last year I learned so much almost about what not to do that now,
That's helpful.
yeah, it really, and I tell my clients that actually a lot of, it's just as important to know what you don't want or what not to do than what to do. Like, for example, they'll say like, I set a goal, and I'll be like, what did you try? It doesn't work. And I'm like, good, then let's not talk about it. It's on the list. We know what not to explore. What can we explore? And I think that allows people some relief.
Yeah. And so if somebody wants to contact you, what are the areas that you can help people most beneficially in?
I would say the two biggest areas that people are coming to me for are time and stress management, and a lot about career development, whether that's leaving their career entirely or a lot of people want to leave their companies. and they want to work for a company they align with.
That's truly interesting, because there's a lot of people that in the olden days, people would work for a company and you were there for a long time. Now people are looking for quality of life at the same time.
Ooh, that's such a good phrase. That's exactly it. A quality of life.
And nobody wants to work 60 hours a week and then have you them say, you know, you're doing a really good job. We're gonna downsize your department, and you're gonna still be there, but you're gonna have less people to do as much as you're doing now. But you're already working 60 hours a week, and it's like, what does that mean? Is that 70 hours a week? Is that 80? What does that mean? And so people don't want to do that anymore.
No.
How do you coach them through that?
Well, the very first thing I have them do is identify their values. What's your values? And then every decision that you make, both professional and personal, can go from there. So if you value a sustainable environment, then let's find you a company that also has that mission. Do you know how many companies are jumping on the green bandwagon? Like, I know that it sounds like I'm making fun of it. I'm not. Or I want to work with a more diverse group of people. There are companies now that have a diversity director. That's literally their job, is to make sure that the team is diverse. So
really? I had no idea.
Yeah, a lot of them, they're called diversity and inclusivity. I always butcher that. Inclusivity. Inclusive and diverse. All right, let me just take that. So yeah, or the other idea is, hey, we have nonprofits now, or excuse me, I meant a startup. There's startups now. There's a company for everything.
Well, and does that mean that in order for you to gain happiness, that you may have to leave the company you're with if you're not happy, or find a reason to make yourself happy within that company? Are those the two things that you work with people on?
Yeah, and sometimes it's simply communication. Like, they'll say, if it's actually, excuse me, two different ways. One, if it's toxic, we're getting out of there. Nope, this is not about a discussion with your manager. You're getting emotionally abused every day. You're crying. You're either going into the bathroom to cry, or you have to step away from the computer because you're in tears on Zoom. Like, you're getting out. And the other people is, I think there may be a miscommunication. Have you talked to your supervisor about this? Or you say your team's okay, but there's one teammate who's a problem. Have you talked to that teammate? Have you told HR they're doing this or saying this? Like, for example, one girl was getting harassed by a male coworker, but she didn't tell anyone. So every day she was like upset. He was slacking her. He was finding her on Facebook. She would block him somewhere and he'd find her somewhere else. And it was very traumatizing, but no one knew in her company. So she wanted to leave. She was so upset, but then we talked about communication. How do you bring this up? Do you go to HR? Do you skip your manager? Like, because your manager's friends with him. She had like some certain circumstances, but sometimes the answer is not to leave. And he ended up getting fired because she did report him. But yeah, I guess it's each circumstance and the severity.
I have never understood how somebody in a supervisory position could use that supervisory position to harm somebody else, especially a young woman who they are ghost. They're doing stuff just to get attention or whatever. And I was in the restaurant business. That happens all the time in the restaurant business, where you've got managers that are using their power to get people to do things that they wouldn't otherwise do. And it drives me crazy. I fired several of them for that very thing. Because I would no more do that than fly to the moon. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And it's also not good business.
It's unacceptable behavior, professionally and personally. It's unacceptable. Because at first I said to her, go ahead, leave. Like, I won't tell them what to do, but I was like, yeah, I'd probably leave too if someone was harassing me. But also, you love your job. You have great pay. You have unlimited PTO. So what do you feel about reporting him first and then see what happens? If they do nothing, you put in your notice that day and you say, this is unacceptable. But if not, and also, like, quitting your job sounds awesome, but financial stability matters, especially if you have kids. I don't have kids. I don't plan to have kids. My kid's not going to not eat because I quit my job. Others don't have that luxury. They need health insurance.
Oh, yeah. And I learned that the hard way. And when we come back, I'll tell that quick story of how my radio career caused my bad country music song experience. And people are going, what the hell did he just say? Anyway,
we'll be at the bar and my dog is no longer with me.
How did you know? My dad died, my dog died, my wife left. Anyway, we need to take a break. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. We're talking with Annie Delre, and I don't even, you're younger than me, and so you're much more connected than I am, because I was thinking to myself that I always look for interesting ways to bring the show back or whatever. And I was going to call and I was going to say, little orphan Annie Delre. And then I thought to myself, no, wait a minute. What if she is an orphan? What if her parents are here? What if she can sue me and all this kind of, so you have to be so careful these days on how you phrase things, where you put things. Well, excuse me, I didn't say that.
Where you put things. Yeah, you got to be extra careful. We've always had to be careful about
that. I think I'm going to have to edit that out, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what Brushwood does with it. Anyway. Oh, goodness gracious. You make me laugh. You know that.
You make me laugh. Daddy Warlocks, right? Was that it?
Warbucks.
Warlocks,
I think.
Warbucks.
Okay.
Warlock sounds scary. So
yeah, exactly. That would be in Harry Potter. Yeah. But and I never saw any of that either. So I'm just pulling that out. But you are now, have you thought about working with CEOs and companies and to try and get the company en masse to change their culture and to learn how to operate a more employee-friendly centric way?
Yeah, I would love that. Actually, like about 2-3 years ago, that's where I really thought I was going. But especially now that I've more experience and have worked with so many professionals, I feel that would make a big difference. And that's what people are looking for now. Like, I think before it was like, this is the way, this is our standard operating procedures. We will always do it this way. There's no wiggle room. And now they're like, oh, we care about how our employees feel. We're like, oh, we're open to listening. So
which by the way, in my cynical brain is a bunch of crap.
That they care.
That they care.
Oh, totally.
They're saying that they care because it is better at getting and capturing employees, because they keep losing good employees to other companies that actually have a better culture. So now it's like, I don't know if it's still happening today because I don't go to the grocery store that much, but there was a while ago where natural was on virtually every product. Like, look at this. This is natural. It's all 100% natural. There's no preservatives, no antibiotics, no, which is, by the way, a lie. If it's chicken, I know that. But so is that kind of, the people, we tend to look at things as the way we would like them to be, and look at how everybody else is behaving, and so we're going to now do that. It's like we are an employee friendly, employee driven company based upon 70 hours a week. Oh no, wait, we didn't say that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Oh, it kind of reminds me of COVID, when restaurants would brag how clean they now are. And I'm like, but why weren't you clean before? I'm worried that you're bragging about washing your hands, because you all should have been doing that before. Or like, we're wiping down things now. I'm like, but so you weren't before? Same with green, like bragging that they recycle. Why weren't you before?
Because it wasn't
Cool.
a good marketing strategy at that time. Now it's a great marketing strategy, because everybody's saying, oh yeah, there are straws that are going to live for 1,000 years in the ocean, and which is actually very true. And so they want things to be, and so but that's part of that's coming out of the marketing department.
Oh, totally.
So that always tells you that that's not necessarily how they feel. So I got to ask you, if you are an employee and if you're looking for a employee more friendly company, where do you find such a place, and how do you root them out? What would you suggest people do?
Honestly, I think it's startups. Because they have younger people doing it, and they see that how corporate America has been running isn't working anymore. Like, I'm a millennial, but some millennials, but especially the people underneath me, they just aren't. They know pensions are a joke. They know they will never see it. They know they'll probably never see Social Security. Like, their minds are so different than, I'm going to retire from this. I'm going to spend 20 years here steadily. I'll get my 5% raise. There's like 5% raises are unheard of now. Now they're like 2%, if anything. So these where startups are like, we'll give you unlimited PTO. You can pick. Do you want to work here? Do you want to come in, or do you want to be remote? Okay, we're going to do 4-day work weeks. That's another thing that people are starting to move to, 4-day work weeks. So why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want that?
As an example, and there are other countries and other people that are doing some of these things that the United States is falling behind on. I was talking with a gal the other day in Canada, and she said, yeah, when I had my baby and then I had my year leave, and it's like, well, no, go back up. You got what? And she said, well, in here we have a maternity leave and it's a year. And I said, well, let's go down to the United States. The way it looks is like this. Oh, it's 9 a.m. Your water broke. Okay. Can you have the baby by 1 and then be back by 3? Because I have a report that's due tomorrow. And so, I mean, we don't, or your significant other or your mom or your dad sadly passes away. It's like, okay, you can have 3 whole days, and that should be plenty of time for you to get over that and stuff, and then we'll expect you back and with the bells on and stuff.
Actually, I have a perfect example of this. Okay. It's kind of sad though. I shouldn't be laughing, but it's just a perfect example. So my brother passed away, and my whole family is 3 hours ahead of me. They're Jersey and I'm California. So it's 6 a.m. and this is messed up, but I found out through a text that he passed away. So I get a text that says Michael passed away. So I tell my company, because it's 6 a.m., right? So I'm telling them before my whatever 8, 9 a.m. start, I don't know. And they said, okay, so does that mean you're not logging on today?
What?
They wanted me to log on. They're like, oh, so you're not going to log on? Question mark. I just didn't answer because I was livid and I didn't want to quit on the spot because of my grief. And this is me, like, I'm trying to book a ticket to Jersey.
Right.
I'm packing a bag. I'm going to a funeral. Like, I couldn't even believe they had the nerve to ask. So that's corporate. That's
I'm really surprised that rather than saying what they should have said, which was, "Oh, we are so sorry. Take whatever time you need." And
it wasn't even a sorry. There wasn't even, I'm sorry to hear of the passing. It was, are you going to sign on today?
and
This
with
is a mental health company. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm shouting. This is a mental health company.
that needs a mental evaluation.
Totally.
Because I can just imagine in there, let's see, if she signs in today and then she leaves, then that doesn't start her bereavement leave until tomorrow. So that becomes a 4-day leave. And God, we can't give her 4 days. That would be a terrible precedent to set. So now we'll have to go back to the 3 days. And it's it makes me so we companies today, and they're learning that they can't do it the way they used to because people aren't putting up with it.
They're not. The retention is so bad, and then they realize, okay, now we have to pay more for a new person and we have to train them.
I was talking with a guy yesterday, and he actually has some numbers to back this up. He said that in order to replace a key employee, it costs their annual salary plus half again as much just to get them replaced and up to speed to be able to carry on with the same way that the person who left was. And by the way, 18 months to get all that done and stuff. So rather than allowing, and so turnover is, but I got to ask you, in your career,
yeah,
did you ever see a report that says our turnover is this is what it costs and how it affects our P&L? And if we change that number to cut it down by 30%, we would have taken this to the bottom line. Have you ever seen a report like that?
They don't. That's something I tell clients to now ask about is, what's the retention rate here?
That's a great question.
Why did the last employee leave this job? Ask questions like that. Be super bold.
Yeah. And especially when they say, well, they just weren't right for us and stuff. Because
totally.
Yeah.
They skirt the answer. That's how you don't even bother. Don't even bother.
Yeah. And which is why, by the way, unemployment is like 3.5%. So it's not very high because their people are looking for good quality people, and their people are just not willing to put up with the same crap. And oh, by the way, you were talking about, and I need to take a break real quick, but you were talking about the 5% year raise.
Oh yeah.
The only way to get around a 2% raise or a 3% raise is to learn what you can from the company you're working for, and then go find another company and renegotiate how much you're going to get paid.
Totally.
That's the only way that you're gonna get a $5,000 or $10,000 raise, because the company that wants you will want you more than the company that you're leaving. So they're going to try and get away with 3% or 2%. And the other people are saying, hey, come here. Look at us. We're friendly. We're nice. We love you. Come on over. So anyway, we're talking with Annie Delre, and I just love talking to you. You're so much fun.
You're so much fun.
Well, we're just a couple of fun-loving people, you and I. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
A lifetime of savings can disappear overnight. Millions of dollars are stolen every day from unsuspecting older adults. by family members, caregivers, and trusted professionals. If you suspect financial exploitation, call the Elder Care Locator at 1-800-677-1116 or go online to the National Adult Protective Services Association to be connected with help in your area.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. You know, Annie, it just struck me that commercial that I just played that was about elder abuse and stuff. Well, that's something that you would know something about because you worked with older people and helping them do some stuff. Is that as big a thing as I think it is?
Well, actually, a few years ago, I was a social service director at a skilled nursing facility, and it's straight scandalous what people do to the elderly. It's horrific what people do to the elderly.
And is it because nobody listens to the elderly and if they don't have a family unit that's close to them that they can say, this is what's happening to me here, Nurse Ratchet is beating me, or they're not changing my diaper all day long and whatever it is, or I'm not getting fed properly. The vegetables that look like peas are actually kind of brown, and things like that. So because the elderly don't speak well for themselves and nobody listens to them. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's people aren't listening, or they have dementia and I don't want to say lies, because lie would make it sound like it's purposeful, but they'll say something like, someone stole my remote, they stole it, and it'll be right next to them on the chair. Or like, they stole my pearls, they're wearing pearls. So that's a bit difficult, but I forget what the stat is, and I wish I could remember, but most of the time it is family members that are stealing from them.
I think you're right.
You can't really report to. I was in a building with 120 beds, and majority of the families never visited. And I also worked in an assisted living where you had to pay a ton of money to be there, and even their families didn't visit.
I admire people who work in assisted living and nursing homes, and they don't get paid a great deal of money. And they have to, there are days when they come to work and they have a favorite person that they like a lot, and they say, where did Mrs. Johnson go? Did you guys move her? Oh, she died. And the death permeates because it's everywhere. And you have to be a special kind of person to be able to do that. So thank you for doing that for a period of time. That was really great.
It was a great and very sad experience. Like, especially something such as like the financial fraud, or they stumble and then their health declines immensely in a very short amount of time. And it was someone who was lively or has a stroke, right? And then can't talk. And they used to be an English professor, or, something like that. It's very difficult to be around.
Just a real quick story. For a period of time, I had a company that I called Family Legacies. And so the idea was that we would interview older people that were either in a nursing home or whatever, so that they could have what I had, which was I interviewed my dad. And then he went into surgery, and he had lung cancer and went into surgery, and then he got a stroke and subsequently passed away. And so we had him. So we had a memorial service a month later for him. And in the meantime, I had taken, because I know how to edit and I can do all these things, I had taken these CDs and made about 25 CDs with his interview on them and distributed them to the family. And then during the service, the memorial service, I had edited it down to about a 10-minute thing. So during the memorial service, I said, and this is my dad, and these are the words that he said. And so then they played his voice over the loudspeaker about the time he met my mom, about the what he valued in life and how he would like to be remembered.
Oh,
There, there wasn't a dry eye in the house.
I was just tears. Right. I have goosebumps. This is just, oh.
And so I wanted everybody to have that experience, and so I would do this, and older people, and I know you know this, older people tend to devalue who they were or who they are, and they don't think that their story has any value anymore because nobody asked them about it. So I'd ask him about it. And there's one guy, he was 92, and his son said, I think he's got some interesting things. I'm not sure. And so I interviewed him. He was in World War II. He was on George S. Patton's staff as he went racing across Europe to free to end World War II. And then he came back to the States. He went into Hollywood, and he worked in Hollywood for a number of years. He did movies with people like Bob Hope and Bing Crosby, and he was sitting here, and my mouth was dropping. Oh, I was like, "Holy mackerel! You've had quite the life." And he said, "Oh no, I'm just an old dude," and it's like, and I felt so badly that somebody could feel that way about any life, let alone somebody who'd done stuff. And so my mission in life is to tell everybody, and I know yours is too, be kind to one another. And also, the last day that you get to live here, don't have any regrets. Do whatever you want to do until it's time for you to go. And then you can then say, I lived my life the way it was supposed to be lived. Do you agree with that? I know you do. I don't know why.
100%. 100. I have people do an exercise called the last day on earth. What are you doing on the last day of earth, and who are you with?
Good for you.
And what would you tell the people in your life, your last day on earth? What would you tell them?
And what do they say?
Like, whoa, you really? What would you want people to say at your funeral?
Yeah. Or would you even want to have a funeral? Would anybody show up if you had a funeral?
Well, one lady said, no, actually, I think it was a guy. He said he didn't want to spend time with anyone in his life, his last day. And I said, well, that's something worth exploring, because who are the people in your life? Maybe you need to get new people in your life. And he was like, holy crap, you're right. That's that's it. And I'm like, all right, let's find the people in your life that you want to spend time with.
And I can guarantee you that when you make changes like what Annie Delre is making in her life, even though you've been doing this a while and you've already have gone through that process of where you're raising your energy, you're raising your vibration, and a lot of those people are exit stage left long time ago. But
totally.
If you are somebody that, if you're not happy with yourself or the arrangement that you have, then go see somebody like an Annie. Go read some books on raising your vibration and stuff, because those people that are bothering you now, they'll just go away, and new people will show up because they value your vibration that you're now doing. So
they're looking for you too.
Yeah.
For you too. Yeah. I say, you're not a tree, move. You're not a tree. Like, you do not have roots. You get up, go.
We are, one of the things I'm working to do with positivetalkradio.net is we've got a store, and I'm putting on we're creating t-shirts with sayings on them. And that just qualified.
Yes.
You're not a tree, move.
Dude, yes. It's just the truth. You hate your partner, time to break up.
Yep. Or if you hate well, it depends on why you hate your partner, I suppose.
That's
but
true.
Well, see, in my case, my partner and I just didn't see eye to eye anymore, because I was working towards doing this, and she was like, I don't want to work. I want you to take care of me. And if you can't take care of me doing what you're doing, you better go find something that you can do to take care of me. And so said, okay, that's kind of nice. And so bye. And see, well, I didn't say bye. She said bye in a roundabout way. She wanted
Okay,
to
our
bring,
values don't align. Good. Thanks for doing me this favor.
yeah, she was going to bring somebody home that I really didn't want to be sleeping in our bed together with me. Anyway, that's a story for another time. But Annie Delre, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that? And yeah, how? Oh, if only people knew. I think I've embarrassed Annie. She doesn't want to be on my show anymore.
Oh, it would take so much to embarrass me. It would take so much.
Oh, you are really cool, and I hope the audience and you guys that are out there listening to this get a flavor of how special she is, and want to work with her. Annie Delre, is it AnnieDelre.com? Can they get a hold of you that way?
That's perfect.
AnnieDelre.com and work with her if you have a corporate question, or if you want somebody to help you figure out, rather than do what my friend that when I was growing up, I had a friend in grade school and stuff. Years and years later, he would call me up halfway into a quart of Bacardi rum to complain about his job.
Oh, I smell it. Like I can smell it. Oh.
And I was like, I really hate my job. And I said, why don't you quit? I can't quit. Like what else would I do? I don't know. Well, first you got to sober up. Secondly, you can do anything you want to do.
Step one, sober.
Yeah. And so I told him that one day. I said, if I want you to change your job or quit calling me and complaining about it. Find something you like about it, or quit and go do something else. Guess what? He never called back.
I've done that with gal pals. Do not call me drunk. Do not call me one more time about your boyfriend. Don't call me one more time about it. Fix
it. You have the ability. You can do it. You can do it.
Go to couples therapy or break up.
And if somebody wants to get a hold of you, by the way, when's your book coming out?
So my one book's out, but I'm writing my second one now.
Oh, good. Now the first book we haven't talked about it. What's the first book again?
SHIT. I wish I knew in high school.
Oh, that's right. We're not allowed to talk into that. We can use that language here on the radio. So.
Oh, should I not have spelled it? Oops.
No, you could spell it. You could spell it because most.
Okay.
The FCC people don't spell very well, so we're fine. Annie, thank you so much for being here. And go to AnnieDelre.com. And this is my third podcast of the day. I'm a little rummy, but I thought I was pretty entertaining today.
You're amazing. You always make me laugh.
and you make me laugh. You've got such great energy, and I implore you work with her. She's great. She will help you in a myriad of ways. So you wait right there. You're going to come back on my show again. I promise you that right now. So wait right there, and I will be right back. Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin@kmmedia.pro.